Hi everyone, and thanks for being with me. And before I start, I'd just like you all to subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think. Make sure that you ring the bell for further notifications and all that other crap that you need to do once you've subscribed. Today I'm just going to have a conversation with you about things that matter to me, which is a general conversation. So in the past I've talked about issues politically, what's happening here in Australia, in the United States, and I've often had conversations around child protection issues in particular. So this is just a general conversation as to why I do YouTube. And I want to make this conversation because I have people wonder about why someone who has 153 subscribers is really interested in YouTube anyway. And why is it that an old fart like myself is even bothering to do this? Well, I want to provide an explanation as to why that is happening, because I think one of the things that concerned me the most when I chose to retire from therapeutic work was to find an avenue which I could do, enjoy, participate in, and find challenging. Now, YouTube itself is pretty challenging because it's taken me forever just to get to 153 subscribers. Am I concerned about how many subscribers I have? No, I'm not really, but it's just nice to have that number of people that want to watch your videos increase over time. Do I enjoy the technology? Yes, I do. Always have. It's been part of who I am for most of my life now, and I enjoy the type of technology, the types of cameras that I use, the set that I've got, my green screening, my chroma key, my production software, everything I actually enjoy about this, and I find it extremely challenging. It takes a while sometimes to get my weary old brain into gear in order to better understand the software and the technology and to use it, and there's still heaps I still don't know, but I make that the challenge. The biggest challenge I think that I have is that on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram and other social medias in general, people are primarily interested in whether you're young, vibrant, got something worth saying, something not worth saying, whether you're controversial, whether you're just a pain in the ass, or whether or not you're still alive. So I do it because for some of those reasons, but not all of them. I do this because for many, many years I've been working with people where I've just been the listener and ask questions and guide them through whatever troubles they've had in their lives, and I don't try to work out those problems for them. I help them to discover them for themselves. In this instance, though, now that I'm no longer doing that work, it provides me with an opportunity to talk about ideas that I've had, or I do have, that are kind of instantaneous. So when I see something on the news that I think I would like to comment about, YouTube's a really great way by which I can at least express that. The other thing about YouTube is that this stuff will be here for as long as YouTube is, I guess. And I will always have something that I can look back to. And sometimes I look back at my early videos in absolute horror to see them produced with yucky backgrounds and terrible lighting and poor sound and lousy webcam and all that sort of shit. So sometimes looking back is really good, as distressing as it might be. But I think that it's important for us to understand that the issue for me is that you don't have to be young necessarily to make an impact. Now, I watch a number of shows where they do the similar sort of work that I do. They talk about social issues and that sort of thing, and they put out video after video, hour after hour. They have sessions where they interview people. They do a whole lot of really interesting stuff, which I admire them for. What I did notice, though, that most of the people that do that stuff are relatively young, certainly younger than I am, but there again, when you reach my age, most people happen to be much younger than you are. So I want to be able to challenge that norm. I want to be able to say to people, look, I've got a lot of experience. I think a lot about the things that I talk about. I'm very passionate about certain aspects of politics, and I'm particularly passionate about issues around social justice, fairness and equity. And I'd like to be able to share that passion with you. And that's the reason why I'd like you to subscribe. Now, there are a lot of people that send me, not a lot, there are some, who send me comments below that disagree vehemently with some of the things that I've said. Now, I don't mind those disagreements. I think it's great if we've got an opportunity to be able to say what it is that you think about what someone else is saying, and you do it in a respectful way. Not all of them are respectful, I admit that, but hopefully my responses to them will be. But I am interested in what people have to say. I don't necessarily want people to say, I really enjoyed what you said, Tony, I agree with you. I'd much prefer it in many instances that people disagree. Give me an idea of what it is that you think about, what things are important to you. And where possible, let's kind of have a conversation about that. One of the things that I also have been focusing on recently has been my concern about cookers and conspiracy theorists and the crazies in this world, and also coupled with them is the right wing of politics and the dangers that they present to all of us. So I'm not going to talk about those specifically now, but I want you to understand that this is part of my focus, is to be able to understand why it is that people think the way that they do. If people are seeking simply power or authority to get recognition, to present themselves in front of a camera, which you can do with a mobile phone these days, if that is what turns you on, that is fine. But if it's about inane stuff that actually has very little meaning or contributes little to society, then I'm not all that interested in it. I know that there are a lot of people that love the crazy and the stupid and the ridiculous and, you know, endless photographs of cats chasing balls and doing whatever crazy things that they do. If that's what interests you, that's fine. I'm not objecting to it. I'm just saying that that's not where I'm at. I want to be able to have a reasonable conversation with you, even though you have a different view to me. I'd like to think that people could come onto my show and talk to me openly about their views, even though I may vehemently disagree with them. I will listen to them. I'm not here to offer a platform because I don't have a very big platform to offer anyway. Like, you know, mine's a plank. You walk off the end of it very quickly. But what I would like to do is provide the opportunities for people to at least have a conversation with me about the things that matter to them. I will listen to them and I will try and understand what it is that you're saying. I'll try and challenge you if I have a different view to yours, but I will endeavour to always be respectful of you. There are times, though, where I think sometimes it just is about calling it out for what it is as well. So even though I want to be respectful, because it's the way I kind of am, I guess, I also want to be able to talk to people directly about what they're saying. And if I believe it's bullshit, I want to be able to say to them, well, actually, I think it's bullshit. But hopefully I'll do that with a smile so that they won't feel too offended when I tell them that. And whether they're offended by what I say or not is probably irrelevant because most people don't really care, or I don't care, whether people are offended too much by what I say. But what I do want to do is to present a range of ideas, a conversation about things that matter to you, that matter to me as well, but even though they may be different to mine, I still want to be able to discuss them with you. The purpose of YouTube for me is an experiment. This is a novel experience to be able to do the things that I like to do. And I've changed the way I've done this over the years. Now, one of the things that I've done recently is I've chosen to script some of my stuff to cut this shorter. So at the moment, what I'm talking to you about now runs for 8 minutes. Most of my stuff will only run for 5 or 6. It will be scripted and it will be well thought out and hopefully well argued. And to do that, I use a teleprompter to help me. I'm not very good at using the teleprompter right at the moment. I'm much better, pardon me, having this type of conversation with you and talking directly to you in this fashion than I am by reading a script. But I want to try it because I want to get my ideas across. I want to talk about things that really matter to me in a very succinct way, which I've obviously thought about because I've scripted them. So I'm trying that as well. Now that idea, I agree, may not necessarily work. It hasn't at this point because a lot of people haven't subscribed as a result. So maybe that idea isn't working. And the other thing too to wonder about for me is the best way to tell whether or not you're successful on YouTube is unfortunately through subscriptions. Now it works in 2 ways. I've had over 500,000 impressions, which is about my videos coming up on someone else's screen, but very few people click them and listen to what or watch what I have to say. But one of the things that does disturb me though is that even though you can have that many impressions, you've got to have a title and you've got to have a thumbnail that is relatively impressive. This is something I'm not very good at this point, but I'm endeavouring to improve. But interestingly enough, some of my best videos don't have really a good thumbnail. They might have a very catchy title. And then I worry about whether or not I need to put up something that is arguably offensive, and whether, like that recently I put up one which had a reasonable uptake, which was John Howard is an idiot. And it kind of runs against my grain sometimes to say things about people that I am thinking inside but are offensive when I articulate them. So I'm trying to be a little bit more circumspect. So the other issue for me is you have to sell your soul in order to be a YouTuber. Do you have to be a Richard Bland who just talks about crap, talks incessantly right into the computer, waves his arms everywhere? I'm pretty sure most of his stuff incidentally is scripted, but he does it in a way which is about yelling, screaming, shouting, and being very incoherent and not necessarily making a lot of sense in my view, but certainly saying things that are controversial. So is that the way to do it? Do we need to be a Rosemary Bar and make statements that are completely so outlandish that they do get the coverage that she wants, so that she can get the recognition and the verification and the validation that she believes that she needs? My age, I don't need any of that. Don't even want it. But it is important to acknowledge, I think, that there are issues which sit out there in the YouTube and the internet space, which people use in order to get people attracted to them. I don't use any of those systems or techniques necessarily. I could, but I choose not to. I like to think people would subscribe to my channel because I'm direct. I believe I'm honest. I say what's on my mind, and I'm enthusiastic, and I've had at my age a lot of experience talking to groups, discussing some of these ideas, particularly issues around social issues type ideas, and I have got that information that I would like to impart to you. But in order to do so, I do need you to subscribe. So I just want to remind you that you can subscribe to my channel, you can ring the bell. If you've got any ideas specifically about things that you think that would be nice to talk about, that you'd like to have a view on, that may be rather controversial, please let me know in the comments below. And also, if you think that you've got something to say and you'd like to come on here and have a chat about it, even though I don't have all that many subscribers, I don't think that really matters. What does matter is that we have a conversation. For all of my therapeutic life, it's just been me and another person, or maybe a couple of people if it was a couple, but it's just been me and others, a small number, apart from the groups that I've run, just talking about the things that matter to them. And I'd like to be able to do that as well. I'd also like to be able to do what I've started doing. I've got a few on my playlist here on that you could have a look at if you wish, which are my interviews that I've done with a few people. No one specific, no one important, I guess in a normal sense, important to me though. And so I've interviewed them. I'd like to be able to do more of those interviews if possible as well. So let me know what you think about my rant, my conversation, which is about everything, but there again, probably about nothing. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think, and hopefully you'll contact me and we could have a further discussion about matters that concern you. So thanks everybody for being with me. Take care, look after yourselves, and more importantly, be safe.